Life is not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be experienced. So after a long day of work, I decided to watch some YouTube, like we all do. I was enjoying myself quite a lot, maybe a little bit too much, until I came across this video. It started off as funny, then it became absurd, and then it became worrying. So the video is about a guy who comes home from work, does some chores, has dinner with the wife, and then watches some TV. You know, all the normal stuff. So I thought, hey, it's pretty boring, but maybe he's just tired. But then I saw the comments and oh my god, they ripped this guy a new one. So I got to thinking, am I missing something? Did I not see something? What's going on? We could leave it at face value and just say, okay, this guy is boring and gay. But no, I have to find out what's going on. So it all starts with Zeno and his boring ass philosophy called Stoicism. Stoicism teaches self-control and fortitude to overcome destructive emotions. It also says that virtue is happiness, and that judgment should come from behavior rather than words. Stoicism helps individuals lead a more fulfilling and less stressful life. Now, the haters will say that it encourages passivity in the face of wrongs or injustice, and that you'll become emotionally detached, just like your grandpa. But that couldn't be further from the truth, mein Liebchen. Actually, Stoicism teaches you how to remain calm in the face of life's challenges. It encourages rational thinking instead of impulsive reactions. It promotes being satisfied with what you already have and where you are in life. It encourages introspection and the understanding of one's reality. The average person is such a loser. Why do people show their boring lives? People who make enchiladas with flour tortillas are the worst sort of people. Yeah, I'll agree with that one. The girl definitely has a man pounding her on the side. Nice lesbian relationship though. Sterile is definitely the right word here. Okay, SAG, paid ads and email marketing. 12:15, check if wife is asleep. 12:17, sneak out to gay club. But what's so gay about chilling? Only gays can chill? I know a lot of gays who get their ass busted, Josh, I'm a fan, but you're kind of a for this take. It's a simple life with this girl. What do you do exactly? Reiterate, get on my level for an hour? But I will say, this is kind of gay to film. Oh, so the gay thing is about him filming it. Okay, so that's all. Sorry, but if you're not 43 and snorting coke in a filthy bathroom stall at 11 p.m. on a Thursday with people you hate, you may as well be in hospice. Saddest shit I've seen in a while. Zero friction. Okay, Jazz Animal Geek. Now, why does this seem depressing? Too comfy, no struggle. Nice apartment. Gotta love Chris. I mean, the video on its own, it's nothing special really. But that's why it's so weird that everyone reacted so violently to it. We can't have chaotic lives forever. At one point or another, we have to look for peace. We have to have something like some stability. Chaos is not sustainable. But yeah, okay, it's starting to make sense why they're making fun of him. Although mocking someone by calling them gay is like so 2000 and late, bro. Nowadays, you call them there's a general sentiment that everyone always has to be striving for something. You can never be comfortable. You like your job? You like your house? Well, get the fuck out. You're insane. Oh, and by the way, I don't believe for 1 second that these people are living like the Wolf of Wall Street. Well, yes, my dear Batinsky, but this waste of skin is 25 years old. He should be living his life to the max. He should be a degenerate. Okay, yeah, I get that, but when is it enough? Like, when is it actually enough? Even the actual Wolf of Wall Street had enough at one point. And I feel like this is very important because a lot of people constantly live in anxiousness and stress. Like they should be doing something else, like they're missing out. And the worst part is that I feel that all those people in stress because of missing out don't even want to do those things. Because if you wanted to do something, you would do it, or you would struggle to find a way to do it. But that's like your mission, finding a way to do it, not just rot there in stress because you're not doing it. Like if you wanted to hang out with friends, but you don't have any friends, well, that's kind of your mission. Go get some friends. And you can start doing things like, well, where can I find friends? Where can I find friends that I would like? But not just rot in your room doing nothing. You would have to do something. And that's your mission. But a lot of these people feel like it's not even their mission, but it should be their mission. Or like you would just enjoy your life as it is. You know, like I don't have many friends, but I'm perfectly fine with the ones I have. I have like 3 friends. That's great. With those 3 friends, I can do every activity that I enjoy and we enjoy as a group. I don't need more friends, you know, but a lot of people are like, I need to have like 20 different friends. But why? But why? Well, because that's what you should do. When was the last time that you played a video game without feeling guilty? Or when was the last time that you did something that you know is useless, you're not going to monetize, and it's not productive, but that you enjoy it? When was the last time that you did it without guilt? Ah, exactly, right? Haha, but let's go deeper. When's the last time that you felt genuine joy? And it pains my heart because it means that a lot of people are not actually enjoying their lives. It can look like they're enjoying their lives, but it doesn't mean that they're actually enjoying it. You know, you can check out their Instagram and they look super happy. They look super fulfilled with all the things that they're doing. But inside, they would like to be, I don't know, like a writer, a dancer, a wrestler, whatever. But they're not doing it because it's not productive. It doesn't lead anywhere in your career. What are people going to say? No wonder depression is so common. But it made me wonder, has it always been like this? Is it a Western thing? Is it like a modern thing? Peaceful life, happy wife, or what? How was it? Stoicism is heavily inspired by that old and wise saying, it is what it is. You shouldn't stress about things that are out of your control because, well, you can't do anything about it. But this doesn't mean that you shouldn't care about anything at all. It just means that you should focus on things that you can control. Virtues, choices, or reactions instead of external circumstances or possessions. And this could be like a magic pill for our current society where we always want more things and more experiences, more traveling, more money. And it's not like Stoicism opposes being ambitious. It actually embraces it, but through a lens of virtue and personal growth. I mean, you can always strive for more and bigger things, but do you actually want those things? Are those 14-hour shifts in that prestigious job worth it? And let's be real, did you start that podcast for fun, or were you expecting to make money out of it? I think we both know the answer. Pursuing goals should come from a place of purpose and integrity. You shouldn't even care about the outcome. The goal is to reach a balance between being happy with your life as it is and having a natural desire to grow. And I know that it's overused, but enjoy the process. Because our lives are made out of a ton of processes and just a few achievements. So if we only focus on goals and achievements, we'll end up feeling like we missed a huge part of our lives. And this sucks because modern society makes it look like having a lot of things is fulfilling. And it equates contentment with laziness or lack of ambition. And the best example that I could come up for this is when we realize that the magic of Christmas is from seeing your family together instead of wondering how cool is my gift gonna be. That's when you realize that the best part of life is happening right now. But we willingly miss it because what would Jazz the Nimble Geek think about us? And we're not allowed to be happy or at peace anymore because we keep playing this game with everyone else. No one is willing to play a different game. Well, just a few. Now imagine it was the other way around and people treasured their time and their purpose and mocked people who valued possessions and external things. It would be like, oh, nice car. How much did you work for it? 80,000 hours? Nice, I guess. And again, it's not like being ambitious or driven is bad. It's more about what are you being ambitious or driven for? It's more about what do you actually want to do? Because life is going to hand you struggles left and right, but you're also allowed to pick your own struggles. What I'm trying to say is that you're allowed to struggle on something that you like as well. I mean, I have a regular 9 to 5, but I chose this channel as a struggle. I chose to write a book as a struggle because those are things that I enjoy. And it feels so refreshing. I feel alive. And it's okay. You don't have to go all in. I mean, problems arise, emergencies happen. We have to make a living. But don't take these things for granted either. Our time is limited, and wasting it would make Jazz the Nimble Geek sad.
It's up to try to finish the ride with his feet's loose, and it brings him from the outside.
Life is so fast. I remember running a lot in college because I felt like I was always late and I couldn't miss just 1 minute. Recently, I visited university again because I was meeting with a friend, and it felt so weird seeing all the places that I used to run and always be in a rush be so quiet and peaceful. I could admire the buildings, I could see all those birds crapping everywhere, and I could also see a lot of students going through the same thing that I did. And that got me thinking, like, why couldn't I be like that before? And I felt so dumb because I felt like I was speedrunning through life or through college. It felt kind of like just finish it already so you can move on to the next thing. But life doesn't necessarily work like that. Having 3 degrees is not exactly better than one well-lived college experience. Maybe for your employer it is, but we all know that the moment you're not useful anymore, you're out. But hey, at least you have your diplomas. The concept of slow living emphasizes a slower and more intentional approach to life. It talks about quality over quantity, where you should cherish your experiences instead of rushing through them. And that's why I think this is another great antidote for modern society. Hustle culture is here to stay, and there ain't nothing you can do. If you dare to say that you're busy, you'll see how many people come out of nowhere saying that they're busier than you, because being busy is a sign of success. Well, not exactly if you think about it, because the people who are always busy don't have time to do anything. They're not even focused on the thing, because they're focused on what comes after the thing. And if you allow it, it will never end, because there's always more things to do. There's always better ways to do it. There's always something to do. And you know that life sucks when you're rushing through basic needs, because it's one thing rushing through chores, and another thing is rushing through eating or sleeping. And that's kind of why this whole slow living thing started in the first place. This guy, Carlo Petrini, and a group of activists started this whole movement as a response to the introduction of fast food in Italy. And they were trying to defend good food, traditions, and a slow pace of life. But it wasn't just about the food. It was a critique of a fast-paced and industrialized world that was eroding the quality of life. I remember somebody saying something like that. Food is much more important than just how it tastes and how it looks. It also meant bonding with others and eating together as a group. It even meant better nutrition, even if you didn't prepare your own food, because at least you understood where things came from, what's in your food. And all of that, gone for convenience. And it's not even convenience so you can enjoy your life more. It's convenience so you can work more. And look, I'm gonna level with you. I'm not even sold on the slow living thing. I'm not sold on it. Because it does have a lot of benefits, but I just don't believe it's realistic. For example, let's check out the core principles. Mindfulness, being fully present and engaged in current activities. Simplicity, reducing clutter, both physical and mental, to focus on what's essential. Sustainability, making choices that are sustainable for oneself and the environment. Quality over quantity, valuing quality in all aspects of life, from material possessions to relationships. And this all sounds cute and dandy, but let's be real, it's easier said than done. I do believe though that we shouldn't just throw the idea away altogether, and we should find a way to integrate it. Yeah, that's right, idiots, I have homework. I'm not gonna grade it, but it's for your own good. No, but really, I suggest you try this at least once in a while just to see how you feel. The next time that you're on TikTok or YouTube or whatever, and you land on a bad video, watch it till the end and see what happens. I mean, unless it's one of my videos, I don't know why, but when I do this and I sit with boredom, my brain resets and I know exactly what I want. And mindlessly scrolling feels more like a chore, and the activity or task or whatever I need to do feels way more fun. So try it out. If you've been a while just mindlessly scrolling, just let it sit on a boring video. And when you realize what you want to do, even if it's watching a movie or playing a game, at least you know that you want to do it. It's not like you're avoiding something else or you're mindlessly trying to quiet something down. And at least you'll be able to feel satisfied with your new task because it has an end. If you're playing something like a game, you can play for just one more level. If you're watching a movie, you can just finish the movie. But if you're infinitely scrolling, you're never going to end. Thus, you're never going to be satisfied. So give it a try and keep it to yourself, because I don't give a fuck. And there are a lot more things that you can do to outrun this fast-paced lifestyle, like mindfulness. Okay, look, society isn't going to change unless it makes sense for the people in power. And currently, it's not looking good. Because I used to think, how come all this time has passed and we still haven't figured out a way to be fulfilled and productive at the same time? And don't even get me started with that socialist stuff. And it made me wonder, how did people in medieval times overcome this? I mean, sure, they kept making kids, but what else? People back then used to go hunting and they loved feasting and art and... oh wait, that was for the nobility. Yeah, so normal people used to work, they loved religion, they loved work, and then they loved local festivals and work and games and work and work and work. Wait, so it's always been like this? Oh yes, always has been, always will be. But yeah, let's take a quick trip through time. Yeah, I got really bored during this part, so let's just skip it all together. Okay, look, the only guy that we really need to know about for this chapter is Thorstein Veblen. This guy turned the spotlight on the wealthy and their flashy habits. You can bet that if he was alive today, he would be working for TMZ. He wrote the theory of the leisure class, in which he says that leisure is not just a pastime, but it's a full-blown display of status. It's a status symbol. And I think that we gotta agree with this guy. Because I mean, after all these years, after all these centuries, and we're still seeing the same shit over and over again. If you were to ask someone, do you have any hobbies? And that person said, yes, I like to travel. I know for a fact that your first thought, like the first thing that comes to your mind is how? How are you able to travel? With what money? With what time? Because they're saying it as a hobby. It's not like a trip here and there. It's last month I went to France, and next month I'm going to Argentina because it's beautiful this time of the year or whatever. I don't know, I don't travel. Let's say for 1 second that you had the money to travel, but where do you get the time? I mean, I get a week, I get a month, and maybe if you get fired you can travel more, but even then you have to get a job at some point, and you can't keep traveling when you get a job. So how can these people travel so much? Because let's say you make your own hours, or you don't have to make hours at all. But not making hours, like I said, doesn't mean unemployed, because you have to get money out of somewhere. And remember, don't forget, we're talking about leisure time as a symbol of status. And I understand this may seem confusing until you meet someone like this. It's kind of like quiet luxury. Take a look at this guy. Pretty cool shirt, right? Wrong. Well, actually, it is kind of cool. But not 600 euros cool. Even if you don't realize it, the amount and kind of leisure that you have is a quiet signal of your status. To me, the sad part is that ironically, leisure can't catch a break. Like, not even the rich can chill just for the sake of chilling. They always turn it into like a competition for social media. If you're gonna waste time, you better monetize it. But obviously it gets worse. By making everything public through social media, leisure becomes a competition. And not like the Olympics, it's more like the Hunger Games. There's gonna be hate, there's gonna be envy, you're gonna feel like shit. And to make things even worse, because yes, you can always make it worse, this is one of those things that perpetuates us distorting value. I mean, we don't care that you beat depression. We care where are you going this weekend. At this point, leisure is just a tool to assert your social dominance. But there has to be something we can learn from this, right? Yeah, sure, why not? So there was this guy called Alain de Botton, and his whole thing was talking about how societal norms influence our perception of happiness and success. On success and society's standards, he says, it's very hard to keep sane in a world that's trying to make you mad. Very hard to stay calm in a world that's trying to make you anxious. And very hard to feel well in a world that's trying to make you ill. Very hard to focus in a world that's trying to make you distracted. Sound familiar? And the worst part is that we already have proof of this. If we go back to our main video, the guy was already happy. He didn't have any reason to feel bad until society came in and they gotta be mean. I mean, the guy was already productive at work. He was productive at home. He was good to his wife. But no, now we gotta make him feel bad, so he has to do more until he burns out probably. And now my guy is stressing because he feels that it's not enough. If you ever find yourself in this situation, please try to be strong and ignore the voices telling you that you're not enough or that you're not doing enough. Because otherwise, your happiness will feel like trying to fill a bucket with a hole at the bottom. You will never be able to fill it. It may feel good while doing it, but it's impossible not to burn out. And when you burn out, you're going to feel worthless because everyone is also expecting you to keep filling it. That's kind of the game of life. It's not. It's really not. For the slow people in the back, what I'm trying to say is that if you use society's standards to define your success, it will eventually blow up in your face. Well, I mean, if society's dick measuring contest is your thing, well, be my guest. Keep upgrading that phone each year, although we know that's not how things work. You can buy the phone with the best camera, but it's gonna be useless if you don't have meaningful relationships, if you don't have a purpose. What are you going to photograph with that? But having those things is hard. When? Well, not really. All you have to do is keep working, and you can calculate how much money you can save and when you'll be able to afford it. Or if not, you can pay it monthly, and that's it. And when you finally get it, it feels so good because it feels like you accomplished something. It feels like you reached the goal. But then that feeling fades away so fast. On the other hand, cultivating relationships, finding your purpose, healing from trauma, those things feel like they don't have an end in sight. To achieve those things, you have to care about people. You have to fail at many things. You have to relive very bad experiences and feelings and memories. And for what? What's the point? Because you know that you can't really achieve these things. You can be friends with someone today, but enemies tomorrow. You can find your purpose this week, but maybe next month you'll hate it. And it's so tiresome because nobody can validate this but us. Nobody's going to say that we have the right amount of friends. Only you know that. You know that you need more friends or you need less, or you're okay with the amount you have. Only you know if you found your purpose. Not somebody on the internet, not your family, not nobody. Only you know that. There's no special medal or achievement that's gonna say that you found your purpose or that you found the correct amount of people for your life. And no amount of money is gonna keep you in a profession that you absolutely hate or despise. You can survive for a while, but believe me, you're gonna burn out. But sadly though, we feel like we have to. Boton highlights the root of much of modern discontent, pointing to societal pressure that leads to individual anxiety. If you feel bad with yourself when you open up Instagram, don't even try LinkedIn. But I've always found this strange because we feel bad for not having things that we don't even really want. We just want how it would make us look. You don't really want that prestigious job. You want the status that comes with it. But your mind knows better, so that's why you don't go for it. But from the many people that do go for it, a lot of them regret it miserably. But they're in too deep to go back. But that's what I find so interesting. If we know that we want the status, not the actual thing that gives us a status, why don't we go for it through a path that we actually enjoy? De Botton really makes interesting points in his TED Talk.
One of the reasons why we might be suffering is that we are surrounded by snobs. A snob is anybody who takes a small part of you and uses that to come to a complete vision of who you are.
Believe me, but if you haven't already, you will be judged based on your profession. And this could end up being detrimental for everyone because workers will not enjoy their jobs, leading to bad outputs, leading to consumers receiving bad products and services.
I think we live in a society which has simply pegged certain emotional rewards to the acquisition of material goods. It's not the material goods we want, it's the rewards we want. And that's a new way of looking at luxury goods. The next time you see somebody driving a Ferrari, don't think this is somebody who's greedy. Think this is somebody who's incredibly vulnerable and in need of love.
And I see this all the time. I studied computer science and I constantly see women suffer from this. They didn't even really like computers in the first place, but they felt like it was the right move, like the right thing to do, because of all this social pressure that they can and that they should and that they would. That's exactly when status becomes a replacement for our peace and fulfillment. I feel empty when I wake up, but my watch is sick.
We're told from many sources that anyone can achieve anything. Along with that has come a spirit of equality. We're all basically equal. There's one really big problem with this, and that problem is envy. I think it would be very unusual for anyone here or anyone watching to be envious of the Queen of England. Even though she's much richer than any of you are, and she's got a very large house, the reason why we don't envy her is because she's too weird.
And this is so true because we don't really envy kings and queens. We mostly envy our friends and brothers and sisters. But with social media, we think that kings are like us and that we are like kings. Oh, we're just people, we're all the same, so we should be able to have the same things. And I see this constantly in my personal life, where I see people who brag about buying a house, which is a tremendous feat in this current economy. And then I see other people feeling bad because of it. Like, oh, this guy just bought a house. He's already married. He's already got this and that. And why can't I have this? Why am I so behind? What am I doing wrong and whatever? But then I meet with that person who was bragging about his house. And I find out that he didn't really buy the house. His father gave it to him and he's making some payments. But only then you realize that, oh, it's not because I'm doing something wrong, it's because I don't have that opportunity. So again, we're not as equal to everyone as we think.
There's another reason why we might be feeling more anxious about our careers, about our status in the world today than ever before. And it's again linked to something nice. And that nice thing is called meritocracy. A meritocratic society is one in which if you've got talent and energy and skill, you will get to the top. Nothing should hold you back. It's a beautiful idea. The problem is, if you really believe in a society where those who merit to get to the top, you'll also, by implication, and in a far more nasty way, believe in a society where those who deserve to get to the bottom also get to the bottom and stay there. In other words, your position in life comes to seem not accidental, but merited and deserved.
And having this false sense of meritocracy is very dangerous, because if you believe that other people are succeeding because of their hard work and they deserve to succeed, that means that if you're not succeeding, you also deserve it because you're not working as hard enough. But as we come to realize, that's not always the case. Which brings me to one of my favorite quotes by one of my favorite shrinks: "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." I've heard this quote in many other contexts, but it always carries the same weight. And the last time I saw this was in a video about a guy who was doing DMT, and while he was tripping, he asked this higher being, like, what was the purpose of life? And the answer that he got was to be yourself the best that you can. The last time that I heard that, I was a dumb teenager who could barely wipe himself, and I just shrugged it off like, yeah, whatever, he was high. But through the years, I've come to understand this more and more. Being something that you're not is so exhausting, and it's so easy to see. I mean, at the office, at your job, you can easily see who is being themselves and who isn't. And there's always this person that not only does his job, but finds a way to make other people's jobs better. It's not like this person is praying to the CEOs. It's just that he's being himself. When you're not yourself, you don't feel the need to go the extra mile. Not even because they're not gonna pay you, but because it doesn't feel right. Your role or your character would be the person who goes to work to get money, which is perfectly fine, by the way. And even if all these people can be super annoying, I think that we all want what they're having. But as Jung said, the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. The feeling that you know what you want to be and what you don't want to be. Like, you know you don't want to be an entrepreneur, you know you don't want to be an actor or an engineer or a doctor, but the feeling that you should want to be those things is what makes you so miserable. Having a 9-to-5 or climbing the corporate ladder may not sound very exciting, but to you that may be the definition of fulfillment. To you that may be, or you may think about spending time with your family, having time for your hobbies, having the security that money is coming in, especially in these times of crisis. And that's what life is all about. People will say that you want this and that you should have that, but you already know what you really want. But only losers want that. Don't give a shit. Enjoy it, love it. For some reason, we feel entitled to a long life, but that's not a guarantee. So let's work on enjoying our lives while we still can. Okay, so what did we learn today? We learned that comfort can be gay, if you want it to be gay, whatever that means. It's perfectly fine to like where you are right now, and to also not like where you are right now, as long as it comes from you. If you like where you are right now, keep enjoying it. Because if you start listening to others, you'll end up regretting it. I mean, go look at those videos about old people saying what they regret the most. And a lot of them say, I wish I didn't care that much what other people thought about me. And if you don't like where you are right now, that's pretty cool too. Just make sure that it comes from you. And if that's the case, you're on a mission and you have a purpose. And that's a pretty cool way to live. So, conclusion. To live a fulfilling life, all you need to do is to